That's okay. Welcome to It's a Higher All Life, episode 17. This is a special episode. You know why?
Why?
I'm making this episode for Paige. Because she needs something to replace her running out to Starbucks. And so this is not going to be exactly the same, but it's going to help. We're going to make a chai latte and a sweet treat. So here's how we get started. Before we turn the camera on, I poured my cup of almond milk into my blender and I let it run for 2 minutes. And I feel it. It's warm. It's not hot, but it's warm. And in the microwave, what do I have? My cup. I had filled it with water. I microwaved that. Dumping out the water, I have a hot cup ready for you. So, to my almond milk, which you feel free to make your own almond milk. There's a couple different ways you could do that. I used this brand of organic almond milk. I'm not showing you the brand. I don't know if I'm allowed to do that. And here's what we're going to do. I blended it up for 2 minutes. It's got a little bit of froth going, kind of latte-like. Yes? Would you like to put those things in? Okay. Zoe is going to add in, why don't I put this down here for you? Go ahead and pour this in. Cinnamon, nutmeg, and cloves. Thanks, Paige. That's good. I measured out this time just to see an eighth of a teaspoon. That's the teeny tiniest measuring spoon that they have. So I did an eighth of a teaspoon of cloves, an eighth of a teaspoon of nutmeg, and a heaping eighth of a teaspoon of cinnamon. Now I may have to adjust that. Thank you. We now need a tablespoon, measuring spoon, because I'm going to add in some organic, grade A, 100% pure maple syrup. Make sure if you do use maple syrup that you get pure. Organic, of course, would be best. But you want to try to pour that in? Okay. You could definitely do raw honey with this, but there's something about the maple syrup that really gives it almost like a commercial flavor to the chai. So I kind of recommend the maple syrup if you go that route. And if you don't, try honey because it's still really good. It's just a matter of getting the flavors together. Now, since I blended the almond milk for quite a while to get it warm, I'm just going to do a little bit. So go ahead and flip that up, Zoe. And we don't have to get super loud here because we just want to mix in the flavors together. Okay? Not so loud. I think that's pretty good, actually. I'll shut that off, let that sit there for just a moment, because to go with my chai latte, I want a little sweet treat as well. Now, on a cold evening, this is just enough of a treat by itself, but we're trying to emulate a special outing treat that you might go to the coffee shop and get a chai latte with something. Yes?
Can we just put this down a little?
You know what? When I'm all finished with this, we'll turn that on a little bit. So just leave it for now.
No.
I'm going to make just a little cookie/candy bar thing. Okay? I have one of my flax crackers that I made at home. You can have a store-bought flax cracker, or you can just eat this out of the little bowl that you're going to make it in. So in here I have about a tablespoon, or not quite a tablespoon, of almond butter. I used a raw organic almond butter, creamy and raw. To that, I'm going to add a tiny bit of honey. Would you like to add the tiny bit of honey?
Yes.
Okay, just a little smidgy. And the reason why is because I'm going to add some raw cacao powder or raw chocolate powder, and that tends to be a tiny bit bitter. So the honey is just going to help that. You got that in there? Okay, depending on how chocolatey you want your treat to be, that's how much chocolate you put in. I want mine to be pretty chocolatey. This is just a raw cacao powder. I bought it at a big health food store chain. Okay, and now we're just going to mix that up. Okay, let me get it started so the powder doesn't get all over the place. We have to start to incorporate it. You know, you can use a bigger bowl. That's okay. We'll get that all cleaned up after. So, Angela Stokes Monarch, she makes what's called a yum pot in her evenings when she needs a treat or just to finish off a savory meal, I've heard her say. And she'll do something like this. She'll take some almond butter or another base, even just water, and mix in some powders like cacao powder, lucuma, various and sundry things that she has in her cabinet. And we'll just eat it right out of the little pot, and she calls it a yum pot. And I've done that a couple times too, and it's nice. I'm making such a mess. Use a bigger bowl because the powders do get everywhere. Okay, well right now what this looks like is fantastic. I could probably just roll this into a ball and call it a treat. But I wanted almost like a Twix bar effect where you have that little bit of crunch. So I'm going to spread my almond butter. Oh, sorry Zoe. I got carried away chatting and I forgot. But how about you sprinkle on my coconut? Because yep, I'm topping this puppy with coconut. Okay, so let me get the rest of this out and then you do the coconut. You're going to do the coconut. Can you... Okay, so now that I have what looks like fudge on top of my cracker, Zoe is going to sprinkle some organic, unsweetened coconut flakes right on top. Go ahead, honey. Pile that up on there. Should we press it in a little? What do you think? How easy is this? And obviously you don't need to do them both, but this is simple. You don't need to make as much of a mess as I did. But this actually looks like a store-bought brownie that you would see in a coffee shop. I think that looks like plenty. Let's put that right there. I don't know, hopefully you'll be able to see that. Can you turn this on for another second? I promise it's not as messy as what we just did, but sometimes when you're creating apps, you make a mess. And sometimes when you're 40, you make a mess. That's it. I'm excited. Paige, you have to try this. And everyone else too should try it.
We try.
Oh my gosh, it smells like a latte from somewhere.
Wow, look at
As my friend goes. Okay, I made one cup because this is just for me. But have friends over and make this. That would be fun. So we've got a chai latte, and I don't know what to call this. We're just going to call it a sweet treat. So check out the foam on my latte. It's almost as if I went to the counter and said chai latte, dry, extra foam. What do you think of that? Do you think it's a high raw life?
No.
No?
Yes.
Yes, that's a good answer. See you next time when it's a high raw life.